time from New York. I am flying back tomorrow, and so today we're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance and what's going on in the market, because it is a very exciting market. Yesterday, we'll get back to this chart, don't let me forget this. Yesterday, we saw Ethereum hit $3,500 per coin, or just shy of it. It was $3,475, at least on this one chart, and it is still holding up perfectly here today. If we zoom in on an hourly time frame, you can actually see that we are still very much intact on this uptrend on the hourly, still getting support by the 20-hour moving average consistently. So I am expecting this trend to continue higher and higher and higher, which is significantly outpacing what my base case was for this Ethereum rally. I expected us to get some resistance at 3,300, and we did not. Now, Bitcoin, on the other hand, has just been trending sideways for that same time frame. It is not invalidating anything. We are still in a very strong uptrend, but Bitcoin is giving its cadence to Ethereum. We are seeing Ethereum play catch up quite drastically. It's like Bitcoin broke out to all-time highs, and Ethereum was like, wait a second, I didn't know we were moving yet. Hold on, give me a second, let me catch up. And that's causing all of our crypto bags to pump, because most of our crypto bags are on ETH. Most of the DeSci plays out there in the market are on ETH's blockchain. And so what we're seeing is a crazy catch up in some of the strong DeSci plays. Doesn't mean that if your play has not caught up yet and started making crazy gains that it's not going to. It just means that that's the stage of the market right now. This is crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy. So we'll go over it a few times, but I want to go over kind of these predictions here for Bitcoin dominance for the next couple of weeks / next month or two. So in almost no world do I see Bitcoin dominance continuing to just fall straight off this cliff. If you look on the daily chart, you see the RSI is the lowest that it's been in an extremely long time for Bitcoin dominance. It is even lower than when we had this massive dip back here in December of 2024. The strength of Bitcoin dominance is through the floor right now low, which tells me that we're probably going to get a bounce, considering we just bounced off the 200-day moving average. And I can move some of these out of the way for a second so you guys can see it more clearly. Ultimately, it doesn't really change much, but you'll see we have a very clear support here on Bitcoin dominance. So that's where I think we'll end up getting a bounce, but what happens after that is the key here. So it, in my opinion, is going to be bearish for our altcoins if we get dominance to play catch up and go crazy. That would likely result in Bitcoin going to like $135,000 per coin, which would be nice, and it would drag a lot of the market up. But dominance for Bitcoin going crazy high and putting in a new all-time high, that would be bearish for our altcoins, right? What would be more neutral, in my opinion, is if we got that bounce, right? In all three of these circumstances, we get a bounce here, because that's what I think is going to happen. I think Bitcoin's going to play a little bit of catch up and just be like, don't forget, I'm still the king. And so either way, we get a bounce here. And I think that we get a bounce in a neutral scenario. We get a weak little bounce up, and then it kind of just slowly drifts higher as the entire market rips and Bitcoin continues to put in some crazy highs. We get Bitcoin up at like 130,000 and everything else gets dragged up with it, but not as quickly as what Bitcoin does. And that is kind of a neutral scenario for our positions, where dominance can still maintain the show, but we have a very stable market. What would be incredibly bullish for the market is if we get a very weak bounce here for the next week or two, right? Maybe through the end of this month, through the end of July, we get a weak little bounce, and then it starts bleeding again. We get underneath the 200-day moving average. We show signs of it flipping towards resistance, and then we get a sell-off sometime in August, middle of August timeframe, right? That would be the most bullish scenario for our altcoin bags. It has not yet happened this cycle. We've not seen it once play out like that, where we really get a sustained sell-off in Bitcoin dominance. It just always bounces off the 200-day moving average, or at least wicks below and then quickly ascends to new highs. So it would be an ideal scenario if we could maintain some of this momentum to the downside, but no matter what, I view a bounce happening here for the next week or so as Bitcoin continues to move to new all-time highs. So I do think that's what's going to end up playing out. As far as Bitcoin's actual price action, I went over this red dotted line yesterday on the live stream. But as far as Bitcoin's actual price action, I think we'll get a choppiness / slow increase in Bitcoin's price until we're back at around 122, 123,000, probably again in the next week or two, as we get the moving average here, the 20-day moving average, to come up and kiss the price of Bitcoin, some of these candle charts, just like it did back here. So a very similar thing to what happened here. If you just copy paste this move onto what Bitcoin's doing right now, it is almost identical. And I'll just show you guys rather than just taking my word for it. Let's just show you guys actually what I'm talking about. From here till there, so a pretty strong, good, sustainable rally in Bitcoin. We overlay it here, and you'll see that we have almost an identical move taking place. And so I think that we'll go sideways for a little bit longer until the moving average comes up and kind of boosts us up higher, where we get another push up to the $130,000 range for Bitcoin. What do you guys think? This is a very exciting time in the market. W Bill, let's go. Good morning, Morales. Good morning, Beagle. Good morning, Dr. Crypto. Good morning, David Curie. Bill is pumping like crazy today. Yeah, Bill is up 14% on the 24-hour time frame, but on this daily candle, Bill was up like 25% or something like that. Looks small here. That's only 15%, so maybe never mind. I saw it at 24 at some point today. But Bill, our DeSci guy, our AI agent, he is making a strong comeback with all of the creator bid ecosystem plays. And not for nothing, but this chart is a very clear higher highs and higher lows. So hell yeah, W Bill, it's about time. Right in time with the dashboard. I'm finishing up some of the back end stuff on the dashboard to get it out to the public for all of you guys to start using it. And actually, it is lining up beautifully with an announcement that just came out from Pump Science. You guys know that Bill is partnered with Pump Science to facilitate with the launch of the next compounds, and July 29th. Ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. That is when the Pump Science launches are opening to the public. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, if they're just going to let everyone just launch all those compounds at the same time, or if they're going to do one at a time. I do not know. But what I do know is that you need to be paying a close attention, because the market is roaring to life. It has been for a couple weeks now. Things are getting very exciting. We just saw Creator Bid launch their first curated agent launch, and it did like a 160x or some crazy shit like that from where you could have gotten in at to where it peaked out at. It's down pretty substantially from that, but it's still up like 30x on a launch. And the next one, they just finished bidding on it, so we're going to be able to start putting money into it here probably in the next 24 hours or so. So hopefully you guys voted yes on it so that you can partake in the next curated launch, because a vast majority of the people who sold that first one are not in on this one, which means it's going to have a much cleaner launch in my opinion. It's going to go hard. This market is so exciting, guys. I woke up, Poseidon Dow was at like $1.22 or something like that. I actually saw some dude dump 10 grand worth of it, which was ludicrous because he was in it for a solid 40 minutes. Let me see if I can pull this person's wallet up. Yeah, look at this. Don't be like this guy, all right? The number one piece of advice that I can give to you guys, and this is financial advice, okay? This is financial advice. It's not personalized financial advice because I don't know your financial situations, but this is just broadly speaking financial advice, okay? Don't do this. Don't do this. This guy FOMO'd in as he saw Poseidon Dow go on a monster rally. He dumped 10 grand in 2 transactions, 5,000. And then in like 40 minutes later, he sold all of it for a loss. My dude sold it for a loss. I don't know if you can see this. He bought it for 117 and 121 and then sold it for 113 in 45 minutes. He like pumped the chart up. It didn't immediately move, and so he just dumped it down. And it's like, homie, how on earth? Okay, let's zoom out for a moment. Over like Poseidon Dow, even from just here on the 14th. Okay, so 2 days. In 2 days, it's up 71%, and you lost money on it? Bruh, how do you do that? How does someone do that? That's insane. Insane. Don't do that. That's how you're going to get destroyed in this market, okay? Things move really quickly If it doesn't move the moment you put money into it, don't just immediately sell unless you need the money. And if you need the money, then you shouldn't have put it in there to begin with. You're emotionally trading, you're setting yourself up to just continue to lose, because guess what he probably did next? He probably jumped into some other meme coin and then just got rinsed and repeat. Let me lose $100 over and over and over again until I make $2,000, but it's never gonna happen because you're never giving it time to actually play out. God damn it. What's good, Derrico? What's good, Beagle? Will there be pre-sale on Pump Science tokens? I don't think so. No pre-sale for the Pump Science tokens as far as I'm aware. They're just going to allow people to jump right into it without any kind of pre-sales. So that should be good. That should be really good. What's good, Chance? Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. Right now, I baited you guys in here with a post on Bitcoin dominance. I just finished going through the Bitcoin dominance and where my thoughts were on it. No matter what, from here, I do believe that we're going to get a few days of Bitcoin being the king. Ethereum has put in some crazy work. Solana's put in some good work. Bitcoin's held up really nicely. Bitcoin dominance is right at the 200-day moving average, which was at 62.4%. I think that we'll see it bounce a little bit. I want to see a weak bounce. I want to see a very weak bounce. Somewhere up probably to 63.5%, maybe 64. 64 would be cutting it pretty close. If we get to 64%, I think it's still going to be Bitcoin season for a little bit longer. If we can not bounce that high, and let's say by the end of this month, from now until the end of the month, Bitcoin dominance should probably be bouncing. If we can get a weak bounce where it only goes up 1%, I think that it's still going to be alt season. I think we can still continue to see that beautiful momentum as Ethereum pushes up to 4,000. That's my opinion on it. I think that no matter what, Ethereum is broken back above a very, very, like a multi-year long support resistance uptrend. So we've broken back into it. We're going to hold it as support, at least it looks. And then we can continue up to higher highs on Ethereum, which will be beautiful. A lot of bill holders sell for a loss too. I know. It's actually kind of funny watching that. There's not a lot of people who have made tons of money on bill, which is good because that tells me that most of you guys who got in early are still just holding on. I was going through some of the transactions a week or two ago, and I saw that most people are still either just hanging on tight or lost money, which was funny. Just got here. Welcome in, Richard. So can you go back to that thing again? Yes, of course I can, Chance. I'll go back to it. Of course I can. Here's my take. Bitcoin dominance, RSI, as low as it's been this entire bull market. We've not seen another period this entire bull market where the RSI has been this oversold. So I believe we're going to get a bounce. That paired with the fact that it just touched the 200-day moving average, I think that we'll get a bounce here for the next week or two. If we get a very strong rally, like a V-shaped recovery in dominance, I think it's going to be bearish for our altcoins and will likely continue to see Bitcoin be the dominant force of this market cycle. If we get kind of a softish bounce, but still pretty strong, where it goes up to touch the 50-day moving average, I think it's going to be neutral, where Bitcoin doesn't just leave everything in the dust, but it does continue with its uptrend like it has every other time we've come down to the 200-day moving average. However, the bullish scenario for everyone, if we see dominance get a weak bounce here, so over the next 2 weeks, it's kind of weak, doesn't quite make it up to the 200 or the 50-day moving average, right? I think that the 20-day moving average should curl down and kind of flatten it back out. And then we can see Bitcoin dominance continue to bleed and then fall off a cliff after it breaks below the 200-day moving average. Don't hold your breath. Remember, this has been Bitcoin's time to shine. This entire cycle has been Bitcoin's cycle. The one thing that is changed as of now is the Genius Act going through with the stablecoin legislation and the green light for a lot of different cryptos out there. A lot of Wall Street, a lot of people are funneling money into Ethereum now because of the stablecoin legislation. And I was doing a lot of digging into Coinbase yesterday after Coinbase's live stream that they did. And I have some interesting thoughts for you guys. Did you know that the profit margins on a base chain for Coinbase are 93.9%? For every fee that you pay on Base, Coinbase makes 93% of that in profit because they bundle those transactions up to send it off to Ethereum to settle those transactions. They have made, Coinbase on Base Chain, have made $124 million off of fees since the launch. What the hell? That is crazy. That is a lot of money to make just off of having people trade things like Bill. And they're gonna they just opened the floodgates with this announcement. They're gonna be putting Base Chain on the app that they posted. Microtransactions like crazy. We'll see how everything goes from here, but I think a lot of people on Wall Street are valuing coin stock improperly. They're about to open the floodgates for a lot of growth because of this Base Chain announcement and everything. Like, the stock is just about to break out to all-time highs, which is beautiful, and I'm really happy for anyone who's been holding on to Coinbase. I think it's going to be a rocky growth, obviously, but you fast forward like 5 years from now, Coinbase is going to be making boatloads of more money than they are right now. So this stock's it's $400 right now. You fast forward, I think it's going to be like $1,500, $2,000 pretty easily. We'll see though. Coinbase, wow, how could we make money from Base? Yeah, it's nuts. Bitcoin and XRP. Okay, Zaj. All right, Zaj. XRP broke out to $191 billion market cap. Crazy. Oh, I just saw it do $192 billion. This is, if it can break up just a little bit more, like if it gets up to 196, let me show you guys. If XRP's market cap gets up to 196, it will be at all-time highs. It basically is at all-time highs right now. XRP's market cap, this thing is roaring to life. A little bit more momentum and we get the breakout to all-time highs, and then XRP is in price discovery as a function of market cap, not as a function of the actual token price, I don't think. XRP. Is it though? This is not the complete price history, but a little bit further to go with token price to get to all-time highs, but it looks like it's going to. It has that clear breakout that a lot of crypto just had, where it was in that little downtrend and then it just snapped up. And this is alt season. This is the mini breaths of the market happening, where people are rotating into altcoins, mostly because of that legislation that just passed. That stuff's going to be really, really, really good for crypto in the long term. In the short term, it's just getting people excited, right? In the short term, it's just getting everyone positioned for what's coming. But we're already seeing, and I've said it so many times, but I'm sure there's new people in here who haven't heard it, but people like Tom Lee coming out of the woodworks saying, hey, I'm opening a micro strategy for Ethereum. And there's several versions of this having opened because Michael Saylor has had such good success with micro strategy. It has been a crazy thing to see how much money he's made, how much money he's made shareholders. So people are doing the same thing for Ethereum, and at a time that Ethereum had all-time record shorts, it makes sense that it's pumping like it is. Hit that like button. Let's go. Let's go. The cool part about the market, Zaj, is that it doesn't care if you hate something. If it wants to pump it, it's going to pump. And right now, that's basically Bill. Bill has been getting, look at this wall of buy orders on Bill. Purchase. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Send it. Creator bid ecosystem ripping to life. Let's check out bid. How is bid doing? Up 16% over the last 24 hours. Bid looks like it is pushing to all-time highs here in the next couple of days. So that is beautiful. The uptrend continues for creator bid. A lot of people got scared out with this one. A lot of people got scared out on this downtrend because it took several days of just consolidation before it continued up. But you and I, we did not. Now we're getting rewarded. Hit that like button. Let's go. We got 6 likes and 25 people watching. Hit that like button. There's several things I wanted to talk to you guys about in the DeSci ecosystem, but I know it's a very exciting moment in the market. So if you guys want to bring up anything that you want me to check out, I'm more than happy to. This is Dune. You guys know Dune. You can see on-chain analytics. Somebody wrote a function to see cumulative fees earned from Coinbase on the Base chain. You can see it was very small at first, but it's going higher and higher and higher. It's all the way up there. That black line represents the amount of profit Coinbase has made, and it's at $124 million. They have 93% profit margins on Base Chain, and they are the number one L2 on Ethereum. That's cool. That's really cool. 400 error. God damn it, Google. Okay, all right. Well, I was gonna try and show you that, but I can't now because Google's being a little dense. Or it's just me being dense. It might just be me being dense, honestly, but that's okay. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna see if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna take a sip from today's sponsor, water. My favorite hydration vehicle. Plastic. Damn it. I dropped it on the ground. Not sponsored, although it should be. Yeah. Let's see. How many of you guys, can I get a show of hands? How many of you guys watched part of the Coinbase announcement yesterday, the live stream with Base? How big is pre-sale allocation for bid level 1? I think it's like $15 or something. But again, I saw people boasting how they turned $15 into like $500 on the pre-sale with Rizzy. So like right now it's sitting up at $1.8 million market cap. They were selling it out at $100,000 market cap. So that's what is that? It's like an 18x on the money now after it crashed. After it crashed so much, it's still an 18x. That's really good. You put 20 bucks into it if you're only level 1, and then what does that turn into? $360. So really kind of cool. You should be yapping as much as you can if you're only level 1 though. Try and get up to level 2 or level 3. That's where you get a little bit more exposure to it. Like I was able to get all $500 of mine filled, but I'm also level 6. I was level 7, but I've been dinged down. I was level 8 for a minute, but I also got dinged down for no reason. I think just because I'm not actively yapping like crazy about it. I yap occasionally, but apparently you have to put in real aggressive work to get points. Whatever, I'm just complaining. I am blessed. All right, so CNID said did not watch. When we push Bill, we need to, as soon as I can get this back end connected to the front end. The front end is done. It's ready to go. It looks beautiful. As soon as I can get the back end completely connected so that all the data is being shown on the dashboard, I'm ready to go to launch it, and then we push, and we push as hard as we possibly can. But it's proving to be very challenging to get this back end connected. I think there's just different nomenclature happening within the dashboard versus the dashboard I've stored everything in, and it's being really annoying. But we are working relentlessly. If any of you guys are watching and want to help out and want to like help troubleshoot it or something, I don't know, but I'm down. Reach out to me. You think it's still worth to buy more bid to stake? I personally do. Creator bid is sitting at a $37 million market cap right now. There's no reason this is not going to 300 million. There's no reason it doesn't go up and compete with virtuals, and virtual is sitting right now at a $1.2 billion market cap. So a 10x from here would get it to still be only 1/4 of the size of virtuals. So a 40x from here to get to its only competitor in the market. Creator bid, I think, has a long upside from here. Like, it's at 13 cents right now. I think it goes to $1 really quickly, especially if we get this bull case with Bitcoin dominance. But either way, I think it goes to $1 pretty damn quickly. C90, how does one help out the best? Well, I think honestly, just like coming up with strategies for how we should push Bill in the marketplace, coming up with strategies for how we should get the most exposure for Bill would probably be the best. I feel like I'm going to solve the whatever error, whatever issue is happening on the back end. I'm going to solve that. I know that. I mean, right now I want someone else to just come in and solve it because I've just been pounding my head against a wall. But we're going to solve it. We're going to move forward with it. I just need to make sure that everything's in place for the bill push and ideating ways that we can push bill as hard as possible. Sorry, I was scrolling X. Okay, so let us look. Right now, we have Jillian, one of the leaders at Pump Science, talking about science goes permissionless. You know what this means? This means anyone will be able to launch compounds on Pump Science. The hunt for the truth begins July 29th. July 29th, so at the end of this month, they are launching the Pump Science compounds, and hopefully they will open it up for anyone to launch on Pump Science at the end of this month as well. We know that's coming. We know that's a feature they've been working hard on. So hopefully they just do it all. Whoa, wait, pause. Hopefully they just, hopefully they launch everything at the same time and just let it so that there's pure permissionless launching immediately. Either way, July 29th, Pump Science is about to gain a lot of attention. And that's why I had opened up all of my leverage long positions on the Pump Science ecosystem. I'm still just hovering around the same market cap as it was when I did that. They're up a little bit, so it's a little bit better, but ultimately EGS, ART, and Gossi are all the same market cap as when I opened up those 3x longs on them. What's good, Vibra Finance? Welcome. And then we have a long post here from Noble Blocks coming out here with updates on Noble. So I will spin this around and you guys can stare at my face as I read you guys these updates if you are interested. How long do you have to get into the Yuki curated launch? Is it 24 hours? If you voted with your endorsed bid, right? Everyone here has endorsed Bill with their bid tokens, and I'm aware of that. So that has given you guys the opportunity to get into these curated launches. If you voted for the launch to take place, then you will have the opportunity to then put money into the launch. And so when the dev opens up the ability for the pre-sale, then yes, the last one had 24 hours. So it's probably reasonable to assume that this one will also have 24 hours for you to get into. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm going to put my $500 in and hope it goes the same way that the last one did. And then hopefully while we're doing that, they announce the next one so that everyone doesn't jump out of this one. But everyone who jumped out of the first one can't get into this one. So it should be pretty cool. Can you share an example? If you have 10K or 100K to invest, how many coins would you pick to invest in? How do you invest if you hear new coins with potential? That's a really good question, MG. Cool, it opens at 7:30. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so that's a good question. And in a bubble, in a simulated environment, we're going to assume that you have money in the stock market and that this is not all of your disposable money, right? You have some cash, you have money in the market, and you are looking to get some exposure into the more high risk, high reward side of crypto, right? That's what we're going to do in this example. If you have $10,000, I would honestly recommend, I'm not recommending anything. I would, if I had 10 grand to invest, I personally would take like 2,500 of that and put it across the bio IPTs. All those IP tokens and the Pump Science tokens that are out, I would put it in there. That's me personally because I think that those are going to be absolute bangers. I would then, of course, take probably like 5,000 of it, so the other half, and I would put it into some stable, larger coins that I think are gonna do really well. At this point though, well, I'll finish. Things like Researchcoin, things like Poseidon DAO, things like Kaito, right? So, things like Creator Bid, some of these larger coins that have some exposure to different narratives. Bill even. I know I'm biased on it, but I got to throw them in there. And then the other $2,500 that is left, I would go and I would find some really good new projects that you see that people are starting to talk about a lot. And I would understand that these are going to be quick flips. And so you have to pay close attention. Otherwise, I would just keep it in cash and I would just wait, because genuinely, you should have already deployed money a month ago. 10K on Bill. You damn right. I mean, if you want the highest returns, then I'd just do 10K on Bill, but I'm trying to give you guys reasonable updates. Now, if you have $100,000, I would deploy a very similar strategy. I think I would honestly keep the amount that you put into the IP tokens somewhere down around 10,000, so 10%, whereas before it was 25%. I would keep it still relatively low, and then I would put like 50 grand, honestly, just into like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, if you have a little bit more money, and then spread the rest out within good, solid narrative coins that are newer, okay? Newer. I'm not gonna give you any super specific ones there, but I would look into it and try and figure out ones that you think have the opportunity to gain a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement. AI agents being a big narrative to play, right? So creator bid, some of the creator bid agents, Bill, those things, right? Yes, no error, a lot of these. And then, yeah. Things that resonate with you though, things that you can put money into and sleep at night. What I would not recommend you do is be that guy who I showed you on DeSci from earlier today. So DeSci's back at $1. The guy who sold $10,000 worth of DeSci this morning. Don't do this. Whatever you do, just don't do this. He bought $10,000 worth of DeSci, right? And then literally 30 minutes later, sold it all for a loss on something that was up 70%. He clearly was watching it. He should have gotten in earlier. And obviously now he probably feels like a genius because it's continued to go down, but he literally lost money on something that's up 70% in the last 3 days. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's kind of idiotic. But with that being said, DeSci's down even more than when he sold, so he would have lost even more money had he not done that. So maybe he's going to end up being the genius here. No, he won't. DeSci's going significantly higher than $1. Yeah, that's my take. But genuinely, you should have had the money deployed before, you know? No. Let's do an example where you have $128 in stock market from forced employer contributions and all your money is in your hand, ready for the most degen Hail Mary possible, retire by Friday. Okay, Bill. 100%. Put it all in Bill. Have you left Dynex? I hope for you, bro. No, I have not left Dynex. I won't leave Dynex. The money I put in Dynex is going to ride to $1 billion or it's going to ride down to zero. I'm not someone who just jumps into things in and out. Nothing has changed with Dynex. They continue to just develop and get better and better as a company. The token has not moved at all, so I'm just hanging on to it. I will not be getting out of it, not at a $2.5 million market cap when it's literally a multi-billion-dollar company. It would make zero sense for me to do that. I will hang on tight, and I will ride or die with it. Rip Akon City. Yeah. It's either going to pay off beautifully or it's going to be a big blunder on my resume of investing. Either way, I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter to me. I have my money into it and I see the long-term potential for it, and so hopefully the team continues to execute like they have been. They've been continuing to just ship crazy feature product updates and everything, so hopefully they just keep doing that and eventually the market will wake up to the long-term implications of quantum computing and quantum AI. But for the time being, they have not. So I just hold on. All of mine is staked, which means I'm making like 2 or 3 Dynex every couple hours or something like that. So if it ends up going up to $10 like I think it will, that means that I just made like several $1,000s a day by staking on it. So there's 57 people in here now with 7 thumbs up on the live stream. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. Talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. Bitcoin dominance is why all of you guys just clicked onto it. And hopefully you guys saw the thumbnail there. If you guys want me to go back to dominance, I will. But I'm sure the people who are regulars here are going to be like, God damn it, stop talking about it. But basically, we just hit the 200-day moving average. It's going to bounce because that's what it does every time. It's the most oversold that it's been this entire bull market. So it's going to bounce. The ideal scenario is it's a weak bounce, and then we continue to bleed. It bounces for 1 to 2 weeks. The bearish scenario for our altcoins is it is a very strong bounce and it gets back up and going, and the Bitcoin only bull run continues. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the most likely scenario is that we have a weak bounce and then a slow climb back up as dominance continues to put in new highs. But everyone can have some hopium. I mean, if Ethereum has anything to say with it, it's going to not happen like that. Ethereum's chilling at 33.76 right now, and that is well above where we needed it to get to in order to sustain this bull run in Ethereum's price. It's having a short squeeze. It was the most record short that we'd ever seen in Ethereum's entire history, at the same time that legislation passed for a clear victory on Ethereum's use case. And we just saw, oh my God, I didn't even say the most bullish thing that I saw on the Coinbase live stream yesterday. I didn't even say, you guys. Okay, collected. Let's put the glasses on so everyone takes me more serious here. Coinbase partnered with Shopify to introduce Base Pay to all Shopify vendors by the end of this year. What? Stablecoin purchases through Base with all Shopify vendors by the end of the year is the goal. Holy shit. Holy shit. You wonder why Ethereum is pumping like crazy right now? They just opened the door to every single e-commerce website in the entire world. Holy shit. Now it's probably just going to be the United States to at least begin with because they only get the regulation clarity in the United States. But that is insanity. They're testing it right now with a few tens of thousands of customers, and customers being like e-commerce websites. People are going to be able to use their stablecoins, meaning they never have to leave the Base ecosystem, meaning they never have to actually exit crypto. Let's go. Let's go, baby. That's crazy. That is so wonderful. That is going to be a huge advantage to Ethereum, because nearly 60% of all stablecoin transactions are settled on Ethereum, and Base represents something like 60% of the layer 2 market share on Ethereum. So Coinbase, which has 93.9% profit margins on all transactions on Base network, is about to make a disgusting amount of money. Disgusting amount of money. Coinbase is a $100 billion market cap right now. By the end of the decade, I think that thing's going to be $1 trillion market cap. I think it 10x's from here over the next 5 years. Crazy. Almost 50 viewers. Come on. Let's go, baby. Hot Carl. What does that even mean? What happens? What is this? Shopify is adopting Ethereum tokens. Yes, Solus. Yes. Shopify has partnered with Base Chain to allow Base Pay to all Shopify vendors by the end of this year. They're starting with a trial run of a few tens of thousands of customers, and with the goal of getting it to all Shopify vendors by the end of this year. My God. My God. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? Trader Duke Travels, welcome into the live stream. Is Hot Carl friends with Jimmy Neutron? Oh, that's funny. Okay, thoughts on Bitcoin? Well, my friend, I think that Bitcoin right now is going through the exact thing that it went through right here, where it's doing a bit of a mini staircase up before consolidation period. So I think it's going to follow that same pattern basically all the way up to $137,000. That's my opinion. Now, I think right now what we're going to see is Bitcoin hold steady here and slowly creep up for the next week or two before getting the next run. And the next run is going to take it somewhere into the $130,000 area for Bitcoin. What will also be very interesting to see, and I went through this on the live stream yesterday, but I've had this little basketball hoop drawing on the chart here for several months at this point, like a very, very, very long time. And I think we just saw a bunch of variables align beautifully for a slam dunk on Bitcoin's chart through the basketball hoop, meaning we get a crazy ripper rally from $120,000 all the way up into the goal of this box of $150,000 to $160,000 for Bitcoin, which has been the goal since back in 2022 when I put this box on the chart. I didn't turn it into a basketball hoop until a couple months ago, but this box here for Q3, Q4, Bitcoin, $150,000 to $160,000 has been here since the depths of the bear market. And my thoughts are that we slam dunk on this red line. The red line represents the peak in Bitcoin's price. What is this red line, you may ask? Well, this red line is the Federal Reserve's rate cut decision for September 21st of this year. And in my opinion, we will get the first of several rate cuts happening on this dotted line here. It's possible that I'm wrong and we get it on the next meeting, which would be in October. So it still could end up being a slam dunk, but just on the far side of the rim. But regardless, one of these two rate cut decisions will mark the top in the market because everyone thinks that the rate cut's going to mark an explosion time in the market. Therefore, they're trying to price in a rate cut before we get there. And that's going to cause Bitcoin and a lot of risk on assets to rip for the next 60 to 80 days. And then they will come back down to reality, just as they did when Trump was inaugurated. Remember when Trump was elected and everyone was like, holy shit, this is so beautiful for the market. We're about to go crazy. And we went crazy all the way until he was inaugurated. And everyone was like, wait a second. You mean we're not just immediately going to get millions and millions and trillions of dollars injected? And then everyone sold off because the reality of Trump being president was not as bullish as the idea of Trump being president. The reality of rate cuts is not going to be nearly as bullish as the idea of rate cuts. So we get that rally until the rate cut happens, and then we slam dunk into the basketball hoop. The basketball hoop's been there for months. The theory didn't come to fruition until a couple weeks ago when we were looking at all the economic data and what the Fed was likely to have happen. So Trump was intoxicated when, fun fact about Trump, he's never been intoxicated. How crazy is that? Trump has never drank. Bruh. Now I gotta Google that just to make sure I didn't just make it up. No, Trump doesn't drink alcohol. Trump has never consumed alcohol before. How crazy is that? He's never been intoxicated. Inaugurated is what I meant. Do you like XRP? I do not personally like XRP, but people are making bank on it right now, so I'm happy for everyone who's making bank on XRP. I can't tell if it's Jimmy or Dexter's Lab. Okay, all right. I'll just take these off then. I'm not trying to murder anyone right now. Not even with Epstein. I mean, who's Epstein? Epstein never happened. What do you mean? Who is that guy? We're just supposed to move on as a country, remember? Nothing ever even happened. That guy never even existed. You guys made it all up. It was a giant hoax. I saw it. Now, you can't believe anything on the internet, but I saw a picture of Epstein, like supposedly from last week or something, that he never actually did off himself. Crazy. Great assessment. Thank you, Trader Duke Travels. Hopefully you travel through the live stream again in the future. Right now I'm live from New York because I'm visiting New York for my girlfriend's work. She works at TikTok and she's in the office right now, and I'm live streaming from the hotel room. Usually I'm live at my desktop and it's a little bit more different. I have my screen shared, not on my phone, but we're live here right now. If you looked into Caspa, thoughts? Yeah. Caspa was one of the big plays that I made in the beginning stages of this bull run. Caspa, we got into Caspa at 1 cent and rode it up to like 10 cents. It's still chilling around 10 cents. So that was a good one. We got into that one in 2023 and rode it during that bull market. Caspa, I think, is like Cardano, and I'll explain it in a few minutes. It's a block DAG, so it's not a blockchain, but rather a net of blocks that are fished together in a DAG formation. But when we broke out above here and kind of retested, so it was closer to 1.5 cents when we finally got into it, but we were watching this crazy, like imagine all this doesn't exist. We're watching this really beautiful uptrend, and so we rode it all the way up to about 10 cents when we started taking profits on it right around here. And then it continued upwards, and now it's starting to curl over because, again, this is the fatal flaw of crypto, is that the excitement of a new narrative sends price higher than the actual onset or adoption of what everyone was excited for. And so everyone was excited for this new block DAG that had transactions that were super quick and settled faster than anything in the market, and that was going to open up smart contracts very soon. And then everyone rotated to a new narrative, and everyone was like, okay, that was fun. Let's find the next Caspa. And so Caspa ends up being in a very clear downtrend now. Now, hopefully it can break out from here and continue onwards, because I do think it is a very strong, technologically sound blockchain, but there's so many strong, technologically sound blockchains that work that it's a very competitive market at this point. There's so many of them. And Caspa's been in a very clear downtrend for the better part of a year at this point. Hopefully it can break out. I'd love that for everyone in it, but right now, the risk to reward is just not there for me. I would rather be in things like Researchcoin, where Brian Armstrong is the CEO of Researchcoin. Yeah, the CEO of Coinbase is also the CEO of a decentralized science protocol, which is sitting at $55 million market cap. I would much rather be in this thing than something like Caspa, because the narrative is there, the chart looks beautiful for a pump, and it's super small. And it's disrupting a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Decentralized science, baby. It's coming in right at the same time that the United States government has in place a mandate that all government-funded research and development gets posted in open access publication sources, which changes the game for all these publication platforms like Nature, and is shifting people onto Research Hub, shifting people onto Noble Blocks. You know? Caspa is my third largest hold. I'd be careful with it, but I feel it runs harder than ADA, my second largest hold. Yeah, I hear you. Nice, you know your stuff. Just subscribed. Let's go, Trader Duke. Let's go. Earned the sub. Researchcoin, I have about 9% of it. Still thinking about adding more. LOL. I mean, it's yet to really run yet. Like, it did have a little bit of a pop here, but it's still yet to really get going. I think Researchcoin is a $10 project sitting at 50 cents. So who knows how long it takes to get up to that $10 threshold. And I've said that before on a lot of stuff, and we haven't seen it come to fruition yet. But I like it. I think it's a solid, easy to understand play for people. Plus that narrative, right? Brian Armstrong. People are like, oh, wait a second. He's got a coin. I can buy the coin. And then everyone gets excited. And it's got something sturdy backing it where you can sleep okay at night and not have to worry about it being rugged. But there's a lot of cool plays out there in the market, genuinely. And most of them have not yet actually started to move. So if you guys still have cash sidelined, I would start scouring the market, especially as dominance here bounces. As dominance bounces, we are going to have a pretty good opportunity to get into some of these altcoins. And then hopefully dominance continues to fall. We see Genome's DAO. I was going to bring up Genome's DAO, but yeah, I'll do it anyways. We'll bring it up. Genome's DAO. It's 23andMe on chain with significantly more data processing, and it allows people to have their ownership over their data. I don't know why I said it like that, but they put your genetic data into a vault, and then you can get paid for letting people conduct studies on your genetic data. And they're having explosive user growth. What happens to assets after explosive user growth? It's the network effect. The more people using something, the higher valuation it's going to have. I remember looking at it when this was the explosive part. I vividly remember seeing that jump right there and being like, holy shit, it's happening. And now look at it. It's going bonkers. In 2025 alone so far, it's only been 6 months, 7 months. In 2025 alone, they've grown revenues 127%. They've grown their user base 133%. And they've run 470% more health reports. They're just getting started, baby. They've just started exploding. And they're working with BitTensor. You guys know I love BitTensor. I love BitTensor. So hopefully we can keep going. How is BitTensor doing? $428. Still yet to have a very, very clear, decisive breakout on the BitTensor chart, but I do think that it is loading nice and strong. So BitTensor is very institutionalized, though. There's a lot of big money in BitTensor, which is why it can be so volatile despite being such a large market cap. It's because those institutional players get in and out really quickly. You think listening to Coinbase will have some effect since you will be able to buy everything on Base soon on Coinbase? That's a good question, Beagle. I think I agree mostly with C90 because I imagine they're going to compartmentalize it between the two. But the whole idea behind what they just launched yesterday is an everything app where people can scroll on something like X and get paid based off the likes and engagement that they get. But the big feature that I think they really wanted to accentuate to everyone was the idea that you can make a game and post on their platform. If it's an on-chain game, you know how we saw that snake.io game, someone made it on-chain so you can go around collecting the dots and earn money or whatever. You can make that game, post it, and people can play the game right there without having to download anything or log in or do anything extra. It just takes your digital footprint and you just continue on-chain as if nothing, like it's one seamless platform. And so with that, I don't think so much that they're introducing a DEX to the app, like we're familiar with it, like a Uniswap type thing. I think what more is happening is that they've just tried to natively integrate everything through their everything app here so that anything that you do on chain can happen through their app. And so it's like trying to remove that barrier to entry for normies where it's like, oh my God, I have to download and have a 12-word seed phrase and like do all these crazy things and connect and approve and then spend and then approve the spending transaction. They've removed all that. So it's just use the app. And if using the app involves you using something that needs it, they'll take care of it on the back end, which is really cool. I would love to dig into how they actually managed to pull that off because that is really crazy. And so I think that listing, my point in all of that, I think getting listed on the other side of Coinbase where you can just go buy and sell tokens, I think it will still have as valuable of an impact on everything. Hold on. Thought I heard someone trying to come in through the door. And I might have been right because the cleaning people stuff was out there. Makes sense. Thank you. I know someone with 7 figures that they keep on Coinbase to simplify their taxes. If they can buy on Coinbase, I'd assume they'd put some small percentage of that into random base plays. Yeah. I mean, yeah. People are going to degen. People want crazy returns. Doesn't matter what level you are in the market. The only person who doesn't is Warren Buffett, who's got record high cash position right now. And I know it's been record high for a very long time, but it just hit like $350 billion in cash that Warren Buffett's got. And Berkshire Hathaway stock is fallen from $800,000 per share down to $700,000 per share because I think people don't want it because everyone's getting sucked into the tech boom that we're going on right now. And Warren's got no exposure to that. But he's been selling like crazy. And generally when he does this, within the next 18 to 24 months, we have some sort of large pullback. So expect that. Expect a pretty big crash sometime in the next like 12 to 18 months. But doesn't mean you can't make a disgusting amount of money in that time frame. The entire COVID run was 18 months and people made hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. So we're just getting started on this crazy euphoria time. Like the market has just now, I feel like, switched over from the Mag 7 only into micro caps, altcoins, and small cap companies. The Russell, I think, just started taking off, and the Russell's been a good indicator of risk on versus risk off. And we're just starting to break out on the Russell. So I don't know. I'm getting off on a different tangent compared to everything that we've got going on in the crypto markets, but my throat's starting to hurt. This has been a really, really good live stream. I've enjoyed being here with you guys. I would stay tuned for everything going on in the creator bid ecosystem. Ticker BID, I think, is grossly undervalued. Same with all their AI agents on the platform. Same with my AI agent, and same with Pump Science. Pump Science partnered with Bill so that Bill could help facilitate the community sentiment and community growth behind the Pump Science tokens. So things should line up really, really beautifully for this, especially moving into July 29th, when decentralized science is going to get a massive wave of attention thanks to pump science. Swatted by the Oh god, the goons are coming for you. No, please. Gloria, the DeSci housekeeper. Well, I thought it was Mandy for a minute because I think she's supposed to be walking back right now from work. But it is not. Yeah. Cool. Thank you guys. We will be missing tomorrow's live stream because I'm going to be traveling back from New York to Atlanta, and that'll be at Friday. So I apologize, but no live stream tomorrow. We will be back to our regularly scheduled live streams come Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we will begin to explore altcoins. Question: my emergency fund is solid till March. What likelihood I can hodl long enough for alt season? I think you have a very high likelihood. I think that your emergency fund through March is good to go, and I think that you will have a really easy time hodling through this. Personally speaking, I think the music stops by March. Don't tell anyone that. That's just between you and me, guys. But I think the music's over by March. So I think you got emergency fund set up till March. I think you'll be just fine. Your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing into. I appreciate all of you guys being here with me. And I'll see you guys in the Discord and the Telegram. Peace.